For a long time, humanity has been trying to understand the world around us. We ask questions that seem simple on the surface, but are actually incredibly complex. For example, how many hairs are on each of our heads? Or how many cells make up the human body? Or even, how many ants live on planet Earth? These questions aren't just about curiosity. They're attempts to understand our place in this vast universe. What's amazing is that the number scientists come up with open up new doors for us to think about. Just a heads up, before we start, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you get all our new videos as soon as they drop. Most viewers don't hit the like button. Please support us by liking and sharing this video. When you look in the mirror every day, you probably never ask yourself, how many hairs are on your head? Scientists have tried to answer this, and the results are astounding. The strange thing is that the number isn't the same for everyone. There's a big difference depending on genetics, age, and even hair color. For instance, people with blonde hair have more hair than those with dark hair, with scientists estimating around 150,000 hairs. This is because lighter hair is thinner, so there's more of it. In contrast, black or brown hair is thicker, so the number of strands is less. Scientists estimate the number of black hairs to be around 100,000. But in the end, the density you see with your eyes is just an illusion. Age also plays a role. When you're a child or a young adult, your hair is at its peak activity. But with time, hair starts to fall out and is affected by aging. A person can lose thousands of hairs in a short period. So, how did scientists calculate this? They calculated the average scalp area of a regular person, divided it into several square centimeters, and counted the hair in 1 square centimeter. They found it ranged between 125 to 200 hairs and then multiplied that by the average scalp area, which gave them the average number of hairs on a head. What's fascinating is that a single tiny hair can reveal huge secrets. Scientists can tell from it what kind of food you eat and can even determine if you have diseases or vitamin deficiencies. In other words, just one hair can be a complete health record. Now, let's leave the topic of hair and go deeper inside the body. Inside us is a hidden world of trillions of cells. Scientists have estimated that the human body has anywhere from 30 to 100 trillion cells. The big difference in this number is because the cells themselves aren't all the same. More than 200 different types work together in a complex harmony. Blood cells, for example, have the job of transporting oxygen and nutrients. Nerve cells send signals to the brain so we can move and think. Muscle cells allow us to move, lift, and walk. And skin cells are the first line of defense against the outside world. Imagine this. Each of these cells is like a worker in a huge factory. If just one worker stops doing their job, the whole factory is affected. The same principle happens in our bodies. But how do scientists count the number of cells? There's no way for them to open up the body and count them one by one. So, they do something smarter. They take the average size of a specific cell and compare that to the size of the organ or the whole body. From these calculations, they come up with approximate estimates. And even though these numbers are approximate, they're enough to show you how complex the human body is. What's amazing is that every cell has a complete copy of the genetic code, DNA. So every tiny cell carries a huge book of instructions. If we were to collect the information inside all the cells, we'd be talking about a library bigger than any human library. When we look up at the sky at night, we see a breathtaking sight. Thousands of tiny stars are shining in the darkness. But the truth is, what's visible to us is a very small part of reality. The Milky Way galaxy, where we live, is filled with billions of stars. Scientists say their number ranges from 100 to 400 billion stars. The big difference in the number is due to the difficulty of counting them, as not all stars are clearly visible, and some stars are hidden within cosmic dust. Imagine if you tried to count these stars one by one. Even if you could see 1,000,000 stars per minute, you'd need millions of years to finish. Just thinking about the number shows us how vast the universe is. But the Milky Way itself is just one galaxy. And what amazed scientists is that there are many more galaxies than we ever imagined. When the eyes of giant telescopes like Hubble opened up to the depths of space, thousands of galaxies appeared in a very small area of the sky. It's like looking at a dark spot and thinking it's empty, and suddenly you discover it's full of worlds. Current estimates say that the universe has nearly 2 trillion galaxies, which means each of them has hundreds of billions of stars. And each star could have planets around it, and some of those planets could have life. So how did scientists calculate the number of stars? They took a picture of the Milky Way galaxy, divided it into small squares, then magnified one square and counted the stars inside it. They multiplied the number of stars by the number of squares, which gave them this estimated number. If you think about the meaning, you'll discover that Earth is just a tiny dot in an endless sea. And yet, this tiny dot is the only place we know contains life so far. If you leave the sky and look down at your feet, you'll find another kingdom working silently. The kingdom of ants. Ants are among the most widespread creatures on Earth. Scientists estimate that the number of ants reaches 1 quadrillion, which is a 1 followed by 15 zeros. Imagine the size of that number. Ants are found almost everywhere. In forests, deserts, gardens, and even next to houses. Wherever you find life, you'll likely find ants. What's amazing is that ants aren't just small insects walking in lines. They have a precise social system. Every individual has a specific role. There are workers, soldiers, and a queen, and everyone knows their job and performs it with precision. Even stranger ant colonies can live for tens of years. And there are giant colonies that cover huge areas of land, containing millions or even billions of individuals. So how did scientists calculate the number of ants? After observing the places where ants are widespread, researchers assumed that every square meter contains 50 ants. This excluded places with no ants like Greenland, Antarctica, Iceland, and some islands. When you multiply the number of ants in 1 square meter by the available land area, you get this estimated number. Despite their small size, ants play a big role in the ecological balance. They clean the environment from the remains of insects and dead creatures and help in spreading seeds. If we look at the universe around us, we'll find a huge painting full of details, from the largest galaxies that contain trillions of stars to tiny insects like ants. This journey shows us one clear thing: that every part of the universe, no matter how big or small, has a role. A star that lights up an entire galaxy has a role, just like an ant that organizes the life of its colony. And this gives us a deep message: to contemplate, appreciate, and preserve the miracle we live in. Share your thoughts in the comments about what you liked most in today's topic. And if you have strange topics or historical secrets you want us to talk about, write them in the comments. Don't forget to support us by liking and sharing this video. We'll see you in the next video.